Yesterday we done the prerequisite to start the first application, right? How many ways you can create a servlet, guys? Total there are three ways.
There are five.
Three ways.
Three ways, sir.
Ways are there. Out of three ways, first approach implementing solid interface. In that, okay, our normal Java class will become solid class and implement solid interface. And solid interface contains how many methods? Means 5 methods, right?
5 methods.
Solid interface contains how many methods? Means 5 methods, right? Exactly. Okay, servlet interface contains 5 methods, right? Okay, fine. Yeah, guys, let me write the code for that today. Guys, to create that one, guys, can please create one new workspace for your batch. To create the new workspace for your class.
Ratan sir, I didn't get the recording video last 3 days demo classes.
Why? Remaining guys, you received required sessions, huh? Become remaining people?
No, sir.
No.
Is the share in the YouTube channel, right?
No. Who recently paid fees? Just 2 days back, 2-3 days back.
Sir, me, sir. Siddhant.
Siddhant on. Recently, 1 week back.
Yes, sir. It's been two days, sir.
Siddhant is on.
Me also about 1 day.
Siddharth also, right? Siddharth Vaibhav also.
Yes.
Yeah.
You paid for only Advanced Java students? Only for Advanced Java?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Me for both core and advanced.
CoreJava at what time you're attending?
7
p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. Clara, you are paid for only CoreJava, Advanced Java, right? Okay, fine, good. Yeah, Rohit, okay, fine. Good, guys. Guys, let me create the project, guys. To create the project, I hope you know, right, how to open it.
Ratan sir, wait 1 minute. I didn't get this kind of window. How to get? Please tell me in Eclipse.
Eclipse, sir. Yesterday downloaded Eclipse, huh?
I have already installed Eclipse in my system, but I didn't get this kind of window.
What window you're getting then?
Windows 10. ID, this type of windows I didn't get.
We didn't get the file menu, edit menu, navigate, search. These options are not there in the system.
Just wait.
Yes, good. Yes, see here we need to create the project, guys. To create the project in Advanced Java, go to the file menu, click on new. We need to select the dynamic web project, guys. File menu, click on new. Guys, make sure that your ID is in the JEE mode here. So in the top corner, left top corner, we can see JEE Eclipse, right? JEE Eclipse, guys. Make sure that your ID is there in the JEE mode. Yeah. If it is there in the Java mode, means it is there in the Java mode. Here we open the prospect is there. Yesterday I shown, right? So Java mode is there. Okay. It changed to JEE mode. Change to JEE mode, right? Exactly. Change to JEE mode. Yeah. Yes. Let me create workspace, guys, for your class. Let me take the servlets 10 a.m. right? Servlets. Servlets 10 a.m. Okay, fine. Yes, servlets 10 a.m. Click on OK. The new workspace will be created. New workspace will be created. Yesterday class notes. protectedtest.com/ what's your class notes? Yeah. Web app 10 a.m. right? Exactly. Web app name is there. Java is the password. Guys, yeah, the guys who are attending this class, please enter your mail IDs here today after the class, so that if any date is changed, and just you can mention that how you paid for both core and advanced or only advanced Java. Okay, that you need to mention. For example, Clara is there. Clara is paid for only core Java. Clara, write your mail ID here. Something like no, okay, clara@gmail.com. So gmail.com, and you write your you paid for advance, right?
Sure.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Once if you write the mail IDs here, because every 14 days the link will be changed, the new link will be created.
Okay.
In that case, even if they forgot to send you the link, because some students or other batch students are there, right? Old students are there, some other batch students, but they will send you the link only the guys recently paid fees. Old student, they won't send the link. That's what, guys. The guys who are attending this class, please enter mail IDs here, so that if any link is changed, so that I will send you the link to your mail ID at that day. Okay.
Sure, sir. Will do.
After that class, you can do that work.
Okay. Thank you.
Guys, this is yesterday class. We done the prerequisite to start the first application. So we done like implementing solid interface. Implement solid interface. To create the solid, guys, we have the three approaches: implement solid interface, extend generic solid. And the solid interface contains how many methods total here? 5 methods, right? Init, service, and destroy. Get solid info and get solid config, right? Get solid info and what? Get solid config. These two methods, right? Init, service, and what? Destroy is right. Exactly. Yes, let me write the first code. Yes, initially you'll get the code like this. Okay. Eclipse, Java, JWID, web developer. Initially you'll get this data, guys. Just welcome file you will get. Just to close that welcome file. Yes, here the main Eclipse ID are the 4 parts. Eclipse ID contains project explorer, where all the projects are displayed. All the projects are displayed. Yes, first one is what? Project explorer, where all the projects are displayed. Where is the pen? Yeah. This is like project explorer, where all the projects are displayed. This is like work area, guys. This is like work area, where we can write the code here, right? Basically here we can write the code, right? Exactly, code here. And this is called outline, guys, where it shows like how many packages are there, how many classes are there, the classes contains how many methods. These are like outline, guys. The project contains multiple packages, right? It will shows like all the package names, all the classes name, and all. This is like servers, guys, because to execute the servlet we require to configure the server, right? Here the server is there. Okay, here server is there to see the outputs and all. Sorry, new server configurations, properties. Okay, here you'll get the server's information, guys. Because mainly Eclipse ID contains 4 parts. One is a project explorer, where all the projects are displayed. This is called work area, where we can write the code. This is called outline. It shows all the predefined. It shows like all the predefined like how many packages are there. The packages contains how many. The packages contains how many. The packages contains what? How many classes and all, right? Exactly. Here server configurations are there, right? Exactly, guys. Here server configurations are there, right? Exactly. Let me create a new project, guys. Go to the file menu, click on new dynamic web project. Guys, dynamic web project need to select it. Give the project name. Guys, give the project name. The project name is what? Servlet basic applications. Servlet what? Basic apps, right? Basic app. Yes, can please select the module version is like 2.5. So don't select 3.0. The reason I'll tell you one small reason here. In Eclipse ID, if you select the 3.0 by default, your project is updated with annotations here. Because in yesterday class, I said like Java mainly contains 3 packages, right? Java External Servlet, Java External Servlet HTTP, Java External Servlet annotation. Basically, these annotations are there in Servlet 3.0 version. That's what if we select the Servlet 3.0 version, Your project is by default updated with annotations, guys. Guys, your project is by default updated with what? Guys, your project is by default updated with what? Annotations.
It's annotations, sir.
But annotations, like, no, it's like reduce the configurations of update.xml file, guys. First of all, you have to know what is update.xml file, right? How the configurations are in update.xml file, right? Yes,
Yes.
sir, no.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, guys. Initial classes, you need to update the project using XML file annotations.
The XML, sir.
Hello.
Sure.
Guys, can you hear me? Sorry, guys.
Yes, sir.
Hemachandra 232. Chandra, you just enter the mail ID in product test where you check your data, right? Here. Okay. So after the class, you can do that activity. Good, guys. Guys, next may come to the quick ID. Guys, select the 2.5 version. The reason I told you, right? What the reason, guys, here? The reason is what? If you select the 3.0, by default, the project is updated with annotations, guys, but we don't want annotations as of now. We don't, what you want to know, like, first of all, XML code. That's what just you can select, like, 2.5 version, like, just click on the next button, guys. So just click on the finish, right? That's it. Yes, sir. Just to select the module version, just click on the finish button. That's all. Just click on the finish button, like, yeah, this is the project is generated, guys. Because in the project, we'll get these files, guys. Java resources are there, build is there, web content is there. These all the files are. What is web content? Slowly you'll get the clarity. So first you need to understand, like, we need to create the servlet, guys. This is the folder structure. Okay. This is the folder structure. Guys, here, first you need to go for the Java resources. Java servlets file, we need to create one servlet, right? That's what Java resources, guys, SRC. In Java resources, SRC is there. Here we need to create the project, guys. So it's servlet. Right click here, new. I want to create the servlet now. Guys, right click new. I want to create the servlet now. Click on servlet, guys. Give the package name like com.tcs. Guys, class name is what? First servlet you can make. Okay, but by default super class, what it is taking? Guys, by default, what is the super class it is taking?
HTTP servlet.
By default, super class is taking HTTP servlet, right? By default, super class HTTP servlet means which approach it is taking, guys? By default,
Second one.
Yaar, please respond.
No. First one.
By default, which approach it is taking?
First one. Implementation. Implements.
Guys, by default is taking approach 1 or approach 2 or approach 3?
Approach 1.
Approach 2, sir.
Super class.
Approach 1, sir. It's implement servlet.
Super class means inheritance, extends.
Sir, it extends to HTTP servlet.
Extends means
Approach 3,
second
sir.
approach.
Yes, sir. The third approach, sir.
Guys, by default is taking which approach? Approach number 3 or not? Exactly.
Sir,
That's
approach
what
number
just
3,
you
sir.
can remove that. Once if you remove this, by default it will take the first approach.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Is it clear now? That is the information here. That is the information. So by default, you can select like, you can remove the data, guys. By default, just click on the finisher. Also, if you click on the finisher, by default, it will take which approach, guys? By default, it will take like, third approach, right? Yes,
Yes,
or
sir.
no? By default, it will take like, third approach. Is that clear now? Yeah, I think font size is very less. Can you please increase the
Like
font
sir, if
size
it is
now?
empty, like it will be the third
Can you please
approach, right?
increase the font size? Can you please increase the font size? Yeah. Guys, font size is very less, right? We need to increase the font size, guys. Can you please increase the font size? Windows preferences. Directly can type the font here. Actually, general appearance, colors and font is there. Directly can type the font here. Colors and font is there. Here you need to go for the basic font. In the basic font, in the last, you can get the text font is there. Text font, double click here. Text font, double click. Text font, if you double click, you'll get the bold italic, change to some 14 here. Just click on the OK. Just click on OK. Yeah, this font is sufficient, right? Yeah. Because we need to create the servlets under the Java resources folder, guys. Use the Java resources folder. So this is my Java, this is my servlet, guys. But still servlet is showing some errors, right? Servlet, servlet config, servlet exception. These are showing some issues, right? Because servlet predefined support in the form of the jar file, right? Guys, servlet predefined support in the form of what? Jar file, right? What the jar file name here? Guys, servlet predefined support in the form of what? Jar file. What a jar file name?
Servlet type underscore API.
Yeah, we need to give the jar file to this application or not? We need to give the jar file to this application, right? Because there's a predefined support, right?
Yes,
That's
sir.
what we need to give the jar file to this application, guys. Where is the jar files? Program files, Apache Foundation, Tomcat 9.0, lib folder is there. Here we need to go for servlet-api.jar, right? Yeah, just you can copy this jar, guys. You can place the jar files in which folder, web content, web.inf folder, lib folder is there. In the lib folder, libraries we need to place in the project here. Because once if I place the jar file, I think all errors are gone, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir, no, all errors are gone, right? Exactly. Because all errors are what? All errors are gone, right? Exactly. Yes, here you can see some libraries folder is there, right? Libraries means what? JRE system library. Like JRE system library means by default, like these are the Java resources, right? These are Java resources, guys. Like CoreJava supporter. Web app library means web application library. Just now we added like servlet-api.jar, right? This is like servlet-api.jar, right? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No. Exactly. Guys, that is information, right? Good. This is like libraries concept, guys. Good. Good. So lib folder we understood, right? Lib folder where we can add like yes, web.inf means web information. Web information is what? Web application, web information. Lib is the libraries, web.xml file is there, right? Yeah, it's fine, guys. Go for Java resources. Guys, let me talk about the first of all lifecycle methods. Guys, what are the lifecycle methods? Tell me.
Init
Service and
service
destroyed.
destroy.
You need to service and destroy, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You need to service and what? Destroy, right? Exactly. Guys, that's what just in the every method, let me write like some SOP statement. Yes, in every method, let me write what some SOP statement, right? So that if SOP is executed, I can decide that that's my life cycle method, right?
Yes, sir.
That is my life cycle method, right? Exactly. That is information, guys. Here, public void init is there. Public void init. Just you can write some sysout control space. Sysout control space. Yeah. This is like so init method. This is like init method. This is like init method. This is like a destroy method. This is like get servlet config method. This is like get servlet info method, right? In every method, let me write that the corresponding method name, guys. This is like destroy. This is like
Where
get
is the
servlet.
service method, sir?
I think which is there in the bottom. Yeah, this is like service method, right? Exactly. Guys, this is like service method you can write. This is like service method, right? Exactly. Get solid info and we have service method, right? Exactly. Guys, out of this all methods, three lifecycle methods are there. You need to service and destroy, guys. Out of the three lifecycle methods, guys, we will write the logics under the service method basically. Guys, where you will write the logics? Tell me. We will write the logics under the service method, right? Exactly. Is that clear now? Good. Okay, see the service
Yes.
method. First, I need to get some information about the lifecycle methods, guys. Let me open the API documentation once. So, let's API docs. Guys, so let's API documentation, right? Overview. So let API documentation. We want to check. Yeah, that's Servlet. Let me open the Servlet interface. Yeah, Servlet. The servlet gets define methods all servlets must implement, right? A servlet is a small Java program that runs within the, guys, read this message. A servlet is a Java, small Java program. Servlet is a small Java program. And small Java program, big Java program. Yeah. Yeah, this is a continuation of yesterday class. Yeah, first point is what? Solid is a just small Java program that runs within web server, right? Web server is saying, right? Exactly. Solid receives the receive and response request. Receives and what? Solid receive and response to request from web clients. Usually across HTTP, right? The hypertext transfer protocol, right? Exactly. Guys, this is like HTTP protocol, right? Hypertext transfer protocol, guys. Yes, sir. No, this is like HTTP, like HTTP listeners, guys. Guys, Tomcat server is HTTP listener, right? Yeah, servers are listeners
Yes.
of HTTP listeners. Yeah, usually across HTTP, right? It means what? Servlet receives and the response for the request from web clients, right? Receives and response to the request, right? It means receives the request and
Yes.
response for the request, right? Exactly. Yeah, this implementation interface, you can write the generic servlet that extends like okay, fine. Yeah, the servlet is constructed the initializer method. It call the client method using service method. Servlet is taken out of service. You see the interface method. This interface defines the methods to initialize the servlets to a request and remove the servlet from the server. It's known as lifecycle methods. These three are the following lifecycle methods. Very good. Okay, the interface defines the methods to initialize a servlet and to service request, service request, right? And remove the servlet from the server. Initialize the servlet means init method, guys. Service request means what? Service method. Remove the servlet from server means remove the servlet from the server means what? Destroy method, right? Yeah, these are known as life cycle method. They are following sequence, right? What are sequence? Tell me, guys. First one is like first one
The
is what?
first one is
The
init
servlet is
method.
constructed, then initialized within the init method. Constructed in the sense object creation. Object is created, servlet object is created, then initialization is happened, right? Using init method, guys. Okay, next one is what? Any calls from the client to the service method is handled. Guys, any calls from the clients to the service method are handled, right? Exactly. Guys, the third one is what? The servlet is taken out of service, then destroyed within the destroy method. The garbage collected and finalized, right? Yes, sir. No, garbage collected and what? Finalized.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Guys, all the statements are very clear, right? Very clearly mentioned, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good. This is a sequence of the data, guys. If you need some more information, in addition, lifecycle methods, read this message, guys. In addition, the lifecycle methods, this interface provides a get servlet config method, which the servlet can use it to get any setup information, startup information. Sorry, get servlet config method, you'll get the startup information, guys. Lifecycle is interface product which servlet can be used to get any startup information, and the get servlet info method, which allows the servlet basic information about servlet, right? Exactly. As in addition to this one, we have these methods, right? Yes, everything is the good from the API documentation itself, right? So very
Yes.
clearly is written, right? Written the messages. Exactly, guys. Guys, come to the methods. First method, let me talk about the init method. This is the init method syntax here. Public void init method. Expecting servlet config object. It throws like no servlet exception. I hope you know. Who called this init method, guys? Called by servlet container. Guys, who will execute servlet means servlet container, right? Called by the servlet container indicate that is a being placed into service, right? Being placed into service, guys. The servlet container calls init method exactly. This message is important, guys. When this init method is called, guys, when this init method is called, the servlet container calls the init method exactly once after instantiating the servlet. Nothing but what? Once object creation of servlet is done, right? Guys, once the object creation of servlet is completed, right?
Yes.
Guys, yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, once the object creation process done, then initialization started, right?
Yes, sir.
Guys, once object creation is done, then
Yes, sir.
initialization is started or not? Exactly.
Yes, sir.
So, see guys, the init method must complete successfully before servlets can receive any request. It means what? Before requesting any service, like before requesting before receiving any request, the init method has to be completed successfully, right? Yeah. The
Yes, sir.
servlet container cannot place the servlet into the cannot place the servlet into service if init method is throwing exception. Does not return the time period if defined by the server, right? Does not return within the time period. Okay, it's fine, not required. So it's saying that the request cannot be placed into service because of we got so many exception. If anything is failed in the init method, then service executed, not executed.
Not
Sir,
execute.
it will not execute.
You want me to copy these points also? The servlet container cannot place the servlet into service if the init method throws exception. It nothing but init method is failed, or init method taking some time duration does not return within a time period defined by the web server. Guys, for the init method, they will give you some internal time period. So it won't like, init method wait for 1 hour, 2 hours, right? It will give some time period by the web server. Within the time period, init method is not done properly, then we got issue, right? Right, the servlet
Yes, sir.
container cannot
Okay.
place the servlet into the service, right?
Okay, okay.
Mhm. The servlet container cannot place the servlet into service if init method is throws servlet exception and does not return within the time period defined by the web server, right? Within the time period defined by the web server. I think this is init method. I think you got the clarity, right? So init
Yes, sir.
method used to perform the initialization parameters, which is called before the after instantiation, right? Once after instantiation. Once if it is done successfully, then only request to processing is happen, right? Exactly. But if anything is the servlet container cannot place the servlet into service. Cannot place the servlet into service is nothing but what? Executing service method, right? If the init method is throwing exception. If the init method throws exception and doesn't return within the time period defined by the web server, right? Doesn't return within the time period specified by the information, right? Exactly. Guys, are you clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Guys, are you clear? Are you clear? Yeah, that is the
Yes,
init
sir.
method, guys. Next method is what? That is like init method.
Service method.
Service method.
Next one.
Next one is what? Service method, right? Exactly. Just let me talk some information service method also. Service method. Yeah, this is service method, guys. A service method expecting how many arguments means 2 arguments. One is a request object, one is a response object. Request object and what response object, right? Exactly. So throw servlet exception as usual, and IO exception is there, right? Yeah, throw servlet exception and what? IO exception, something like this. Where? Yeah, IO exception. This is service method. Guys, which is taking like 2 objects, right? Parameters are what? 2 parameters, right? Request and response. What is the request object is holding means? The servlet request object that contains the client's request here. Client, when he sends some request, assume like you are the client here, you are sending username password to server, right? Enter the to check the login success or failure. So whatever the data is coming from the client, the servlet object that contains what? Client's request, right? Guys, servlet object that contains what?
The client
Servlet,
request, sir.
the servlet object that contains what? Client request, right?
Yes, sir.
Guys, the servlet object that contains what? Client request or not?
The
Exactly.
client
What,
request.
what a response object?
Servlets.
Sir, it's servlet.
Yes, response object means what? Whatever the response I'm going to send to the guys, whatever the response I'm going to
Send to the
it
servlet.
send it to the browser, right?
Send to the browser.
Because client in the sense browser, right? Who sends the request, guys?
Sir, it's
Who sends
browser, sir.
the servlet response object that contains servlet response, right? That this is a response object that contains servlet response. That servlet response only comes to browser side, right? Yes or no? The servlet
Yes, sir.
response only comes to browser side or not?
Yes, sir.
That is the information, guys. That is the information. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Good. Guys, so the servlet request object response object is right. Good. And this is called by container allows the servlet to respond to a request, right? Okay, very good sentences. Called by the servlet container, guys. Who called the service method? Called by servlet container allowed container to allow the servlet response to the request, right? Yes or no? Respond to the request or not?
Yes, sir.
Exactly. That's one thing, guys. That is allowed to respond servlet, right? This method is only called after init method completed successfully, right? Okay, fine. Init method got successfully. The status code response always should be send error. Okay. It says that when the response object comes to browser side, servlet response, right? Response object is nothing but servlet response. This response object comes to server browser side. Every response contains status code value, guys. The status code of the response always should set for a servlet that throws or send an error. It's saying every response having its status code values here. Like 404 error, like 202, 304, something like that. I will show you that point, okay? Yes or no? Servlets typically run inside the multi-threaded applications, guys. This is very, very important point here. Servlets typically runs inside the multi-threaded environment, right? Servlet container that handle the multiple requests concurrently or not? Yes or no? The servlet can handle the multiple requests concurrently, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Exactly. So developer must be aware to synchronize access to any shared resources such as files, networks, as a select instance variables and all, right? Exactly. So servlets typically run inside the multi-threaded servlet container. Multi-threaded servlet container, guys. Servlets typically run inside the multi-threaded servlet containers. Okay, so that can handle the multiple requests concurrently, right? Yes, sir.
Yes,
No.
sir.
Yeah. Developer must be aware of synchronized access. And there are two types of access, guys: synchronized access and non-synchronized access. Synchronous and synchronized and asynchronous. Yes, synchronized, asynchronous. Synchronous communication and asynchronous communication, guys. Guys, you today try to Google it and try to get some information about synchronous communication and asynchronous communication.
Okay,
Guys,
sir.
there are two types of communication. Communications. One is what? Synchronous. Synchronous and what? Asynchronous. Then he is saying clearly, servlet typically running multi-thread environment, guys. Developer must be aware of synchronized access. Synchronous or asynchronous. Synchronize access to any shared resources, right? Any shared resources are there for the multiple servlets. We need to give synchronized access, right? Yeah. That's communications are two
Yes,
types.
sir.
Synchronous and what? Asynchronous, right? Exactly. Just you can check what is the synchronous and asynchronous communications. Sorry, clear now? This is called
Yes.
service method, guys. Last method is what? Destroy method, if we call. Public void destroy, guys. Public void destroy. Called by servlet container indicated servlet is being taken out of service. Yes, servlet is being taken out of service, right? This method will call only once. This method is only called once all threads within the service method get exited, right? Yes or no?
Yes,
It
sir.
means what? That servlet can be accessed by one thread or multiple threads.
Multiple thread.
If multiple threads are executing that servlet means if all threads are completed. Okay, this method is only called once all threads within the servlet, all threads within the servlet service method complete, right? Servlet method is completed after time period has been passed. As even init method, service method, the web server internally giving some specific time period. Within that time period, if it is done, within the time period, if it done, that will be good.
It's
If
passed.
it is not, it is passed. If it is not passed, time period has passed, right? Once the
Then-
time period has passed, it is destroyed, right?
Yes, sir.
Because once the time period is passed, then it is destroyed or not?
Yes.
Destroy, sir.
Exactly. I hope you got the three life cycle methods clearly, right? What is init? What is a service? What is the destroy, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Guys, why init service and what? Init service and destroy, right? Exactly. Guys, three methods are clear.
Yes, sir.
Init service and destroy is clear, right? Which one is called first means init, next one is the service, next one is a destroy, right? Next one is a destroy, guys. Good, good. Okay, this is my servlet I'm writing. Out of these three methods, guys, we will write the logics. Where we write the logics using service method, right? So here we will write the logics of servlet. Say this is the called by servlet container allows to servlet to respond to a request, right? To respond to a request, right? Exactly. Here we will write the logics in this method. So here we will write the we will write the logics of the logics of the what? Servlets or not? Exactly. Guys, are you clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, here we need to write the logic, guys. Because before the writing the logic, guys, first of all, this is servlet program, right? We need to specify the servlet is giving what type of response to browser. To see like what type of response giving to server, response dot what set the content type. It means like before adding the response, we need to specify, right, what type of response you're giving to browser. Response dot set content type. Content type is different types are there, guys. Text slash HTML you can give. Guys, before sending the response, we need to specify what type of response you're giving to browser, right? Guys, to specify the type of the response, the type of response generated by servlet. To specify the type of the response generated by servlet, use what? Use content type method, guys. Content type, right? Exactly. Guys, that you can see like no response dot set content type. Yes, sir. No, before sending response, we need to specify, right, what type of response you are giving to browser. You are giving like no text response, image response, JSON response, XML response. What type of response you are going to give the browser? Response dot set content
Okay.
type you need to use. Okay. What type of response? PDF response, Word response. You are giving multiple responses to the browser, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what response dot set content type text is HTML, right? Exactly. Basically, sir, what are the types of response basically that we have? Response HTTP servlet response is there. Response here we have the response dot set content type is there. Okay, this is basically status code values 302, 304, 400 response types here. Today you need to check this documentation once regarding status codes. Status code 202. 202 means what, guys? Status code indicating that request has been accepted and processing but was not completed. 202 means not completed. 502, 400, 409, 100, 201. Indicate the request process created new resource, created a new resource on the server. Yeah, 201 and 301, 405, 403, 300, 204, 203, 200. 200 indicates that indicating request succeeded normally. Succeeded normally. Okay, total how many request status codes are there? Oh my god, these are number of status codes are there. Yeah. These main number of status codes are there. These are all the fields which belongs to response, right? Servlet response object, guys. Servlet response object, right?
Sir.
Exactly. Yeah, these are all the status codes and corresponding information. Yeah, corresponding information, right?
Ratan sir, I have one question.
Mm.
You don't have your own documentation, Advance Java? Please send this group your own documentation on.
Okay, this is like no response status codes. So, okay, response status codes. Okay, response status codes. SC accepted 202, 202, 202. Yeah, guys, total we have 500 series. These are all the status codes where that is fine, but we didn't check for the set content type. Set content type is a method here. Set sender redirect is there. Set header is there. Response dot set content type. Where is the method here? These are the method summary, right? Method summary is there. Add cookies. Set content type is not belongs to. Send redirect is there. Set date address. Set header is there. Set int address is there. Status. Set status is there. Sets the status code for the response. Status code. If you want, you can mention the status code, guys. If we didn't mention, by default, it will take some status codes anyhow. It's fine, guys. This is set status code. Sets the status code for the response. This method used to set the return the status code when there is no error. For example, the status code is what SC OK, SC mode permanently, like completely we done, right? Completely we done the process. If there is error and all the colors which invoke the error base in the web application, send error should be instead. Like what the status code, if you want, you can set the status code, guys. And by default, guys, what we are checking first of all, I'm going to check the set content type. Response dot set content type is there. But why this set content type is not there in response object? That's a big question mark, right? Let's check the methods once again. Is that my eyes are not working properly or what? Response object. This is response object only. Yes, response object. If there is no set content type. Servlet response. HTTP servlet response we need to check basically, because no. Here response object also it has to get data, because here we have the interfaces no means all implementation classes. Implementation classes. If interface itself it is not there, implementation class we need to check. If interface itself is not there, means how it will be there in implementation class here. Right. But let me do one thing. Java X dot HTTP select response. If you open, you see HTTP select response here. HTTP servlet response definitely here. These are also status codes because response means status codes are there. These all are status codes here. These all are status codes. Fine. And yes, you try to see that status codes. Okay. Here set content type. Uh-huh. I hope you understood what I'm trying to check, right? First of all.
Yes, sir.
Method inherited from the, I think, which is there in this one on set content type here itself, it is there. Set content type is there. Set content type, this is method belongs to what? Solid response itself. Okay, up to now we are checking it is solid response there, but it is from what? A solid response itself. Solid response itself, which is there. Okay, fine. It's my mistake. Yeah. Yeah, set content type you can specify, right? Yeah, see, set content type java.lang string type, right? It sets the content type, the response, sets the content type of the response being sent to the client, right? What to the client, what type of response you're sending, you are setting, right? If the response has not been committed, the given content, the type may be included in the textual HTML, guys. It means the default request type is textual HTML, guys. Guys, the default HTML is what? The default type is what? The textual HTML, guys. Yeah,
Yes,
the
sir.
string is like basically MIME type. Guys, just let me Google it. What are the different MIME types here? So different MIME types. If you take the different MIME types, yeah, different MIME types here. Like how many things we can specify. That is all are the MIME types. Common MIME types, right? I need some list, better list images. Let me check. Images, if I check the ones. Yeah, these all are the MIME types. I think which one is the better, just I'm checking that point so that we'll write the application slash zip, application text slash HTML, text slash CSS. Okay, MIME types, image files. Okay, fine. One diagram that we can show all the things will be here. MIME types means these all the things, guys, are basically, yeah, HTML, docs and all. Server cake and yes, complete list MIME types, complete list of MIME type, different MIME types you can specify, guys. Yeah. File extension. Actually, this is a base type. This is the extension type, guys. Base type and extension type is there. Actually, text slash HTML means text is a base type. Base is like text data. HTML is extension, right? The text is a text slash HTML, guys. Application slash JSON. Application slash JSON means what? Application is a data base type. JSON is extension type, right? JSON is the extension type. Image slash JPG. Video slash 3GPP. It means what? Video is the base type. This is the base type, guys. What's the data? This is extension. Yes, we have the slash is there. We have the slash means what? Before slash, what is the content? After slash, what is extension? This is called base type. This is called derived type. Sorry, extension type.
Okay.
Extension type.
Base type and what? Extension type, right? Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Let me make some things here. Yeah, let me take the best diagram. This will be okay. Loss it's a burger. Yeah, application.json is there. It means what? Generally application data slash JSON is extension, right? Yeah, so application.zip. Media thread GPP, 3 GPP mobile format. I think 3 GPP, something like that. So this is like base type and what? Last one, let me copy one more, something like application slash application.jpg file, something like that. Application.pdf, application slash pdf is there. Let me copy this one. Application.pdf is there. Yeah, but dot what type you need, just you can specify that type. Okay, response.set content type. What type of response you are going to set? Response.status code. By default, response status codes are there. If you don't want these status codes, if you want, you can give your own status code with your own message, right? That's up to you. Okay, response.set content type. While sending response, we need to take care of this point, guys. What type of response you are sending, what is the status code value, and how much length of the response you are sending. How much length of the response you are sending, right? Yes or no? Length means like
Yes,
how
sir.
many characters? How many characters, right? Yeah. Yeah. Image slash CGM and CGM also extension here. Application image. Yeah, fine, guys. Yeah, we have multiple MIME types, guys. Just you can check this all the MIME types. Image.jpg file, just I'll write the code here. Image slash jpg is extension, right? Exactly. Guys, this is like text slash html means what? Text slash html what? In this text slash html, guys, test is the base type. Guys, test is what? Test equal to, which is like test is the base type.
Basics type.
Base type. HTML is what?
Extension type.
Guys, here applicate test is a base type, text is a base type, HTML is what, guys? Extension type, right? So this is like we can take the extension type, right? Yeah, this is a base type, this is extension, guys. Always you can remember like that. Application.pdf, application.json, image.jpg. This is like base type and what? Extension type, right? Guys, so before sending the response, we need to specify like what type of response you are sending to the browser, right? What type of response, and what is a response code. This is all about response code, right? And length of the response, how much length of the response you are sending to browser, right? Length of the response, right? Set the content length. Yeah, the above only this method is there. These three methods we'll use frequently here. So sets the length of the content of the body, response native servlet. This method sets the content length header, right? Yeah, length of the content being written to the client. Guys, here you can specify this method. Set the content length, right? This is the method. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So guys, you got that clarity, right? This is like len
Yes,
is
sir.
parameter, right? Exactly. Set the content length, right? Yeah. Guys, then in the servlet, we need to add one more line here. Response data. Response data. Set content length. Length, how much length you need to give, just you can give the length. Number of characters, guys. 100 is nothing but number of characters. Number of characters that you are sent to the browser, right? So guys, len is the len and integer specifying the length of the content being written to the client. Guys, length is what? Length of the content sets to the content length header, right? Exactly. Guys, are you clear now?
Yes, sir.
There's 3 methods, right? Just you can check these 3 methods once. So tomorrow no class, guys. You can join my Monday class. You can join on Monday. Monday the link will be changed, guys. Still the guys who are not paid fees, you try to complete the formalities. You try to take the new link. Okay.
Okay, sir.
That's what I'm saying clearly. The guys who are paid fees, please place your mail IDs and mobile numbers and corresponding you paid for CoreJava Advance. Okay. Just you can give that information here. If unable to receive the link, at least I'll send you the link.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
By
Thank
guess
you, sir.
tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow we'll meet.
Sir,
Tomorrow there is no class, na?
Tomorrow no class. Monday we'll meet.
Okay, okay. On Monday,
Hello?
okay.
Yeah.
sir, can you place the day for session? Yes.
This is the day 4 data. Day 4, I think more and more information, everything I copied from API documentation. But all are good, right? This is the content. Okay, because it's day 4, right? Okay. Someone is trying to modify meanwhile. Yeah. Bye guys, tomorrow Monday we'll meet. Bye.
Okay.
If anyone not complete the payment, complete the fee payment. Okay. Anyone is there? The guys who are not completed payment still? Anyone still not completed payment?
I already did. You put the mail ID, first name, then mail ID, then the which cost we are going to pay theirs. Okay, sir.
Sir, I will mail in your mail ID, sir.
No, you can write the mail ID here better.
So in chat box, sir.
Array, here email tab is there, right? In web app, your class notes I'm placing every day. Here I created email tab now. Here you can place your mails here.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
sir.
Bye.
Okay, thank you, sir.